Hi everybody, it's me, Mr. Pete's again. So I'm going to show you how to do a trompe-l'oeil drawing. Trompe-l'oeil is French for fool the eye, as you saw in the description. And it's not a very difficult project to do, but I would love for you guys to follow along. You could do exactly what I had done. And then I also left a couple of other videos for you in the assignment that you can look at that other amazing artists, that they all of their trompe-l'oeil drawings too, if you want to try that. Those are optional, but this one I do want you to follow along with. So I'm just going to need a piece of printer paper, which I have here, a pair of scissors, a pencil to draw with, obviously, and then I have this white eraser here to help me erase any of my mistakes. So the first thing we're going to do is on your piece of paper, if this is the center of the paper right here, I want to start just above, but kind of in the middle. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a dot here, I'm going to put a dot here, okay? So now I know that there's a vertical line that goes in between those two lines. Now, if there was a line that went right through the center, I'm going to put a dot here, and then I'm going to put a dot here so that these are all kind of equidistant to each other, so that when I draw these dots together, I have a really kind of wide shaped diamond. Okay, and it looks something like this. And I'm just putting those dots in first so that you know exactly where you want them to go. Now this is going to be the top of our cube that we're going to draw. Okay? So now what we're going to do from here is I want to put a dot that's going to be kind of below this dot over here, but I'm not going to go directly below it. I'm going to go below it and a little bit in so that there's a slight angle to it. All right, so it's going to kind of angle in. So I'm going to put a dot right about here, and I want it to be kind of long, and I'm going to do the same on this side. Okay, but same thing, down and in. So again, it's kind of equidistant. And then I'm going to draw a line that's going to go from here to this dot, and I'm going to do the same here. Okay, now let's pretend there's a line, an imaginary line going in the middle here. Right in the middle, I want to go down, so I'm going to put a dot right here. So then I can connect from here to here, and from here to here. Okay, now the last thing I want to do is connect these two center dots. Not this one. Start with this, the bottom of the diamond, and then go straight down to this dot right here. All right, and it kind of looks like a skewed, elongated cube, right? This is the top of the cube, and then these are the two sides. All right, that's sort of the idea. And now we have, this is the hardest part of the drawing. Now we're going to start to shade it in. We're going to add some values. Remember, value is how light or dark something is. So some of the sides are going to be very light, and some of the sides are going to be a little bit darker. Now I want to pretend that we have a light source that's kind of shining down on the top of this. So what we're going to do is I'm going to put a very, very light value along the side here. Just this side. I'm kind of doing a light pressure with the pencil, but it's a very light value, like this, okay? And then I could take my finger and just kind of rub, if you don't care about getting your hands dirty, all right? And then you could see it's kind of smeared. Oh, my hands are dirty, whatever. And then I'm going to do the other side here, but I'm going to make this one a little darker than this one. So this one's going to be a darker value. Not going to be too much darker. Again, if you go outside the lines, I'll show you what happens if you go outside the lines. I'm going to take my finger and I'm going to kind of rub this one in. My paper's taking on the texture of my table. Okay, so now I have a little bit of this kind of coming outside of the box. You can literally just erase that away. I don't really like this eraser, so I'm going to use this one. This is a really good eraser. And I'm just going to kind of go and clean up the outside of it. All right, just to kind of neaten it up. Wipe away all those little erasers. Okay, so now we have a cube that has values into it. All right, I'm going to leave this top one very light, basically white, because the light source is so bright that it's going to be shining on top. Now, towards the bottom of the paper, down here, very, very lightly, I'm going to draw a very thin oval that is about as wide as these two sides here. So the oval is going to be about the same width. So I'm very, very lightly drawing this oval. Okay, and then inside of that oval, I'm going to start to shade it in. And this is going to be the shadow. I like the middle part to be a little bit darker, just like this. Okay, and then I could take my finger and I'm just going to kind of smudge this all around. Now, I don't want to clean up the edges. I want that blurriness towards the side, so I'm not going to clean up the edges at all. This part, you should clean up the edges, but this part, don't clean up the edges. All right, so that kind of looks like the shadow. Now, the last thing we're going to do before we get to the scissors is I want to draw sort of a horizon line that's going to go behind the cube. So about halfway point of the cube, I'm going to draw a horizontal line, just like this. And then if that line continues behind it, and then I'm going to draw on the other side so that there's this horizon behind that cube. Now what we're going to do is I'm going to use my scissors and I'm actually going to cut along the horizon, up the side, follow through the top, down, and then continue with the horizon. Okay, so I'm going to be cutting here, up, over, down, down again, and over. So this line I'm going to cut, all right, as if I'm getting rid of this whole background. Okay, so I'm going to take my scissors, go ahead and cut that. And I don't care about this portion of the paper, so I'm cutting that off. And then the last part here. Okay, so now that I cut that off, you could see that this part is all cut off now. But what's cool is when you take your cell phone camera and you look at this, it has the illusion that it's actually floating. So if I were to take this and bring it towards the camera, and then I were to hold it down at a slight angle, and it should have, there you go, there. Now it should have the slight illusion that the cube is floating above this piece of paper. All right, if you try this at home, and then you'll see the illusion when you use your cell phone camera, you'll definitely get that illusion. Take a really good picture, like the one I'm providing for you guys, and then upload it onto this assignment. All right, happy drawing.